Okay, I hopefully I'm audible to the people on Zoom call. Uh, uh, I have a lab here in this building. It's in ERF 1032. We do a lot of programming. We used to do a lot of designing and building robots, but since it's much cheaper to buy robots, we do a lot of programming. This class also is going to be a lot of programming, not much designing and building. It turns out there are probably 10 or 15, 10 or 20 jobs for every robot, even more jobs. I think there's a need for programmers more than there's a need for builders and designers. And I know that all of you, I think most of you are mechanical engineers and you want to design and build things, but unfortunately, we're in a scenario where we need more programmers. And when I say programmers, you don't need to be a computer science expert. A lot of mechanical engineers can actually do these things. Think of it like if you've taken ME250, this class on intro to graphics and uh, taught about Arduinos and all, that's the kind of program you think of. We just start with that and we just go more complex programming. So the hope is that this course will teach you some of those skills. We will not really build any things. We'll do a lot of programming. And don't be scared by programming. I've taught this class 2 times before. Students have found a way to program, and I give you a lot of code. And so it's all about looking at my code and modifying it. And it's a topic where uh, unlike other classes where you're doing things and you're getting numbers and you don't know if the numbers make sense. In this case, when you write code, you'll make things move in simulation. So you'll have animation and things move. You'll be able to debug and figure out if things are working or not because you can visualize things. And that's the beauty of a field like robotics. You can visualize things. And we'll do a lot of simulation. And I'll actually teach you how to do animations yourself. So we'll do animations in Python, but we'll also have another a career in robotics. When I was teaching this course in another institute like 10 years back, we only had the areas in blue. We had jobs in manufacturing, uh, typically manipulators. There are jobs in automobiles, again, to manipulators to make planes and make cars. And then there was research labs. So if you're doing a master's PhD, you would have. But since then, so since 2014, when I first started this course 10 years back, uh, there are lots more jobs now in startups. Google, Amazon, Apple, SpaceX are some of the companies, but there are a lot more jobs. It's a great field to be at this very time because there's just so many jobs. And I'll tell you that most jobs are actually in programming. So when I say programming, it's not just writing code, but integrating a vision system, a robot. And then the biggest advantage which a mechanical engineer has in such a scenario is if the robot breaks, you can fix it. While if you're a computer science only engineer, then you are probably stuck. So I would say all of you, if you I don't know how you came with what mind frame you came for the course, but I would say embrace programming. It'll make you a lot more competitive than your peers who are doing computer science and other things. Of course, and then finally, there's jobs in education. Lots of uh, outreach is done using robotics, right? High school. Some of you might have competed in Lego League and so on. But then there's a need to train new generation of aspiring roboticists. Okay, so there's no TA for this course. I'm the instructor. I'll be grading your homeworks, projects, and everything. And you can email me if you have any questions. My email was on the first slide, and you can find me on my web page. There was a textbook I used last time. This is like a open source textbook, which is developed by a grant from Department of Education. It's developed by Clemson. I've been helping them out a little bit. You can read the book. It's in tiny.cc textbook, but a lot of things in this course are well picked from various sources, not just one textbook. So there are some things that the textbook will tell you, but not many things. So my notes will give you everything you need for the course. I'll also give you code. Uh, we'll use Blackboard for everything, syllabus announcements, notes, videos, etc., as is done in other courses. There is, yeah. This course is a prerequisite of dynamics. I really don't think you require that. I'll just teach you everything you need for the course, including linear algebra. Don't worry too much about that. Python, it's nice to have knowledge of Python, but not required. Now, this is the problem with the way we do it, and many universities we teach you MATLAB. Unfortunately, MATLAB is not used in outside in companies because MATLAB is well, it's free for well, it's inexpensive for students. You pay $100 for MATLAB, and the university, if I buy a license for the lab, will be $2,000. But companies have to pay several $1,000s for MATLAB, so they won't want to buy MATLAB. So if you learn MATLAB, unfortunately, MATLAB will not be used in a company. And I think that if after finishing this course, you get nothing out of the course, that is, you don't follow a career in robotics, I think I would say one thing you learn from this course is Python. It'll be very useful for you beyond this class. Okay, so I said just try your best, work hard, learn Python, if nothing else. This class meets Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 to 10:50. It's in 1023, this room, but then you can also attend it through Zoom. The link is there, tiny.cc. I think there are two more people online. The passcode is MEC 400 plus. I don't take attendance in this class. And since I don't take attendance, that's not part of your grading. So what I do is I teach in person, but you can attend through Zoom. And then you can also, if you miss both those, I actually post all the YouTube video, which I usually make from this Zoom recording and the notes on Blackboard. So you have everything available to you. And I think many people benefit from that. The one of the comments I always get after for the reviews is that they benefited from the YouTube videos, if nothing else. Okay. There are some policies, and I think we've been using Zoom for a while. I'll just skip those. Uh, Last year I had exams. There was a midterm and finals. I just thought that's too much work. So I just removed the exams totally out of uh, the grading. Okay. I think did I do a mistake on this? 50 and 50. Okay. So never mind. I thought I was doing 40, 50. Okay. It's 50% homework, 50% projects. Uh, Homework, as you'll see, has two components to it. There'll be some hand calculations and there'll be some programming. And I think that when I try to do only hand calculations, when I did not have this demarcation of percentages, people just did the hand calculations and just skipped the programming. But programming is very important. So I just put a weightage for the programming part. Every homework will have some programming. Every homework will have hand calculations. Anytime you don't have a homework assigned a week, we'll have projects. Okay, so like I usually have 4 projects, maybe at the most 5, and that will be your rate. Last time when I taught this class, I think 75 to 80% of the class had an A grade, and it's basically you just do the homeworks and projects, and you should be fine. There are some bonus points which I give you, some extra homework and so on. They'll make up for if you didn't get full points in the homework or projects, not the project, the homeworks. They'll make up um, for the loss in grade there. We'll use Python, as I said. It's a free software. Everything in this course is free. You don't have to buy anything. We'll use Visual Studio Code. I've used other Python IDEs. This time I'm going to teach you Visual Studio Code, but you're not stuck to Visual Studio Code. You might be using something else, like Spider is another one. There is, I used to use Atom. One semester I used Atom. It's no longer being developed. There is PyCharm. There's a lot of IDEs. You can use anything you want. We'll use Coppelia Sim. It's a physics simulator. You can go to coppeliarobotics.com and check it out. This basically is nice because you don't really need to work with the physics. So for the physics, the Python IDE, when we'll be using it, we'll be actually coding the physics. For Coppelia Sim, you don't have to code the physics already there. You can simulate it. One of the good thing about Coppelia Sim is if you're doing senior design and you want to make a pretty animation of your project, you can actually use Coppelia Sim to do it. It looks very much similar to a Inventor or your CAD interfaces. So you can drag, drop, but you can also write code to make it move. You could also import CAD models into Coppelia Sim and make them move. So it's a nice visualization environment. If you want, you could use it for other things besides this course, like senior design. Homeworks, the 50%, I'll allow you to work in up to groups of 2. It'll be due every Sunday. though I say no late submissions, I think I give you one more week to submit your homework for 50% penalty. So it's due, let's say it's due next Sunday, you have one more week to finish it with 50% penalty, and then there's no I don't accept homework because we just have to move on. Is homework every week. You can submit your homework through Gradescope. Some things in the homework are cannot be submitted on Gradescope. I will explicitly say it in the homework that you need to submit it via email, and then you just email me a zip folder and then indicate it's this is work done by you and whoever. Okay. The projects again can be individual groups of two. They should be emailed to me. There's no TA. That's accidentally put that. Um, one of the things that happens with projects and homework is in groups of two is that one person work, one person doesn't work. Please don't do that. It's supposed to be a learning experience for both of you. So please put in the effort and try to help out and contribute equally to the project. Um, yeah, if it's more than groups of two, the reason I don't have it is because when there's three, usually one person just slacks off. Um, I've never used ChatGPT in my classes, though I use it in my research to write code. I would say you're more than welcome to use ChatGPT in this course. You just feel free to use it. I would say in other classes they might have a different policy, so don't take my policy and use it for other classes. In when it comes to coding, the thing about coding is that there's not real plagiarism involved. Well, there is in some senses, but not really, because most people in the release code, it's like they have MIT code or some open source code where other people can use it, and it's really just doesn't make sense for you to reinvent the wheel and write code when somebody else has written the code. So a lot of coding is about how to be able to use other people's code, because then you can, instead of working on writing code, you only work on the ideas and putting things together. Think of it like a calculator. There was a time when calculators were not allowed and people used to hand calculations, and the amount of energy you spend doing calculations by hand is probably take as much time thinking about the problem and formulating it. But with the calculator, you can spend more time thinking about the problem and spending less time doing calculations. I think ChatGPT is becoming that for coding. So you don't really have to think too much about writing code, but just think about the ideas. How will you maybe you want to organize your code around functions, and you will tell ChatGPT to write ABCD functions, and you'll write the functions, and you can put it to your. So I would say, I don't know how many of you use it, but if you have not, I'll actually use it sometimes to code in the class, so you can see how I use it. But feel free to use ChatGPT in this class, and you don't have to put anything in your notes. And I use ChatGPT absolutely fine if you use it for coding problems. I wouldn't recommend using it for handwritten calculations, because that just defeats the purpose of the questions, right? You need to be able to think and analyze and write solutions to handwritten calculations. So there are like simple problems I give you for hand calculations, which I'm expecting you will do it and not ask ChatGPT. There's bonus that's announced in the class. Usually I do homeworks. So also if you find errors in the textbook, you can actually annotate and write there. Just be sure that you log into an email before you do that, so I can track your name. And then there's course evaluation, which I give a bonus. Okay, my office hours are through Zoom, Monday, Wednesday, 11 to 12:30. So just after this class. And then I'm very much accessible through email. You can email me anytime. I'm usually quick with emails, but if I don't respond, give me at least 24 hours. Okay, so this is the course description on catalog, in the UIC catalog. If you go to ME410, UIC ME410, how many of you have seen this before? Okay, so if you signed up for this course by looking at this, I'm really sorry. I'm not going to teach most of these things. The reason is that this course description came up in 1992. Now, maybe many of you were not even born in 92, right? So this course description is very old. That time, those things were obviously they need to be taught because that was more current. These days, those things are not current. I've highlighted the things which are current. In fact, we'll do slightly different things. We'll actually talk about manipulators, cards, drones, optimization, control, motion planning, vision. This is a new thing I'm going to teach this time. And then we'll implement things with Python copyless sim. Okay. Um, Copilot Sim again is a free software. You can, this is the last slide, yeah, this is my last slide. So we can go to Copilot Sim, and then you can look at some of the, there is a, yeah, so it's basically used to create these beautiful animations. Of course, these are robots which are programmed in the virtual world that you can make them move. As I said, if you have a senior design project, you could actually get it inside this. Okay, so use the education version. Don't buy the pro version. Everything in this course is free. You can download and use it. It's free for education. So the simulator looks, I'm going to open it. Uh, we'll basically write, so you can use Copilot Sim with Python. You could use it in MATLAB, Lua, C, and so on. We'll be using the Python version, so it integrates with the course. This is similar it looks like. You can, as I said, you could create objects just like you would in the CAD drafting software. You can create joints. The joint is here is inside, so I need to move it. So that's the joint. Anyway, so you'll be putting it together. You can make various things. You could also play with this. For example, this robot is pre-programmed. If you just say play, it'll move. Okay, so there's the robot, but then there's code which makes it move, and we can try to hunt it down. It's probably should be like a notepad somewhere here. Here's a script that does nothing. Here's a script. Okay, so this is the script, which it's not too complicated though. Anyway, so this is a script which basically is being used to program the robot, and this is written in a software called Lua, Lua. Looks very much similar to Python and MATLAB. Yeah, and then you can play with other things. There are manipulators. So that's not programmed. Try something which is programmed. Maybe this one is programmed. It's programmed to move in certain fashion. Okay.